Hello, this is Violence Free World. My name is Ikpe, and today we'll continue our conversation with the Director General of the International Institute for Professional Security, Tony Ofoyetan. But that will be when we return after this special report. It is believed, generally, in the study of violence that you cannot take a gun from the violent and offer nothing in return. This position is perhaps because of the notion that people get involved with violence because they want something or look forward to a certain gain, which could be abstract, such as position, love, respect, or even material gains like money, jewelry, food, and more. Why it is proving increasingly dangerous to stem violence with superior violence, especially from an official standpoint. The need to use a carrot approach seems to be gaining traction lately, something referred to loosely in Nigeria as amnesty. By the late 1990s, the Niger Delta region of Nigeria had earned a reputation as the most volatile spot in the country. Youths between the ages of 18 and 39 had taken up arms, kidnapping mostly expatriates for ransom, bombing of oil installations, and looting at random. These acts of violence, according to them, were deliberate acts to liberate the oppressed Niger Delta region and its people from perceived injustice against them by the multinational oil companies and the Nigerian government. By 2008, the crisis had reached an unprecedented level, thereby attracting an embarrassing global attention.
Our boys were kidnapping expatriates. Jobless, they have nothing to do. They were kidnapping expatriates, vandalizing pipelines. And we have to speak out, the leaders of the area. We have to visit them, to talk to them, plead with them. When in 2009, the army had a total war with the militants. The military went up. They were using helicopters. They were using navy. They were using ground forces. So many people were killed. I have to send a message to Mr. President. Yaradua. He listened. Then we said, okay, who will back this up? But we sent people out. Some retired soldiers. In fact, one of them was led by Ambassador Gali. They talked to the boys and they agreed that they would surrender their guns. Yaradua granted the amnesty.
Government of then President Umaru Musa Yaradua responded by offering amnesty to the warring militants, a process Goodluck Ebele Jonathan continued after his principal's demise. A 60-day period was initially opened for militants to turn in their weapons, get registered, and qualify for monetary benefits and freedom from prosecution. Consequently, several militant groups took turns to turn in their weapons to accept the deal. The effect on the region, and indeed the country, was profound, as there was truly a cessation of hostilities and oil earnings stabilized. However, this action seemed more like paying the militants to halt hostilities in the region. Mouth-watering contracts were awarded to ex-militants, and some were even sent on trainings to acquire vocational skills abroad. While these gestures, on the whole, can be said to have served its purpose, it also became a scandalous source of corruption, as several government officials are alleged to have diverted monies running into billions of naira. Given the relative calm that prevails in the Niger Delta region today, a situation that has enabled the federal government to continue oil exploration and sales, it can in all senses be said that the amnesty approach as applied by the Yaradua Goodluck administration was a good move. The success of the amnesty approach to the challenge of militancy in the Niger Delta may have informed the recent moves by governors of some states in the northern region to apply same in response to the challenge of banditry, kidnapping, and killer herdsmen menace. Welcome back. Well, it's time to continue our conversation with Tony Ofoyetan from last episode. Tony, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Tony, let's talk about self-defense. Now, somehow we have to look for help. We will not go down under terrorism, under banditry willfully. No. Now, some persons, even in very high quarters too, had made a case for private licensing of guns, even though you were talking about it is going to be the gaming thing. I'm not sure it's going to be the gaming license anymore that we're going to be certain here now. Governor Bala, probably without even meaning, I don't know what exactly it was that he meant. He said the Fulanis,
bear arms.
They are threatened. So bearing arms is one of the ways for them to defend themselves and preserve their existence. You understand?
Yes.
Is that the way to go? Do we all need guns? Do we have a temperament to be able to deal with this?
Well, in terms of temperament, I don't have problem with temperament as an individual. When GSM came, the argument was whether we were ripe enough for GSM.
Yes.
There is never a right time to do anything that is right. But the issue is whether it is right.
Yes.
And if I look at it vis-a-vis the high level of proliferation of small arms in the country,
yes,
I will not but agree with those that are saying legalize arms. Those that are saying don't legalize arms, I understand the fear. But all I expect is that maybe with high level of strict guidelines, rules and regulation, it is possible. I'll give you an example. Private security companies in Nigeria, they happen to be the highest employer of labor after the federal government in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes. And you look at this set of people, many of them are retired military officers, retired security agencies officers, and the like. Now, just imagine you are a retired general and you cannot even bear arm. Immediately you leave. The question is this: if you bear arm, will you misuse the arm at your level? Even if you retired as a sergeant or as a corporal, will you misuse the arm?
How many percentage of such persons do we have?
Now, it is insignificant, yes, but it is also part of it. If you have such situation in your community, for example,
yes,
you will have some level of confidence.
Yes.
What the difference between you and the bandit is the arm they bear, not because they can beat you one-on-one,
no,
not because they can do anything to you at any point in time, even at nocturnal hours. You meet a man on the road and he's not bearing arm, and you are not bearing arm, and he's asking you to kneel down there. Then you should be able to ask for what? On what ground? But if once you cite the arm, even before he asks you to kneel down there, you're already kneeling down and calling a boy you can give birth to daddy. Not because of the boy, but because of what he's carrying. So if we look at it from that perspective, I agree. But from the perspective of abuse, that we don't have enough, and with the level of the way people are thinking now and all those stuff like that, if there's, for example, if there's communal clash like is happening in so many communities, it will be very disastrous. If government is not giving us the desired policy, somebody can just carry a gun, go to the road and just be shooting police on the road because he has access to guns and all those stuff like that. So it has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. But if you ask me, what I would recommend is that the government should allow state actors, security agencies and paramilitary agencies to bear arms. Like you have the JTF that is closely connected to the military. Now the JTF either should be replicated in every part of the country.
Are they bearing arms already? JTF.
My brother, JTF bear arms, so the arms may be different, but they bear arms. JTF bear arms. I've seen them gun in JTFs, and they don't bear military type of arm. It may look like hunter's gun. They have hunter's gun and all those, not like the normal military this thing. You know, they will have something to protect themselves. They have something to protect themselves. Yes, they are not allowed to bear military AK-47 and all those stuff like that. But we've seen them carry
the normal hunters, then gun, handmade gun and all those stuff like that. Because they are the pointer. They help the military. So in one small way, they must defend themselves. But you see, but that's not the issue. What we are saying is, we have the Amotekun. We have, like the JTF we talked about now. These are paramilitary organizations that can be empowered to bear arms at their state level, regulated and controlled by the state. Now what that will do is, at the end of the day, it will help in security of state. You will not be able, you see, the idea of some people coming to villages in the wee hour or in nocturnal hour to come and sack villages will reduce. Why? Because the response timing will be reduced. The response timing is not going to come from Abuja. You are going to just have
real time.
It's going to be the real timing.
Yes.
So if you are talking about we had an attack here, it's going to be within the state. It's the governor is just a stone throw from you. The governor is going to ask the commander of maybe Amotekun to say, take your boys there immediately, go and stop that attack. And the terrorists, knowing that very well, it will reduce. What is the number of people that are involved in criminality? So it's a matter of, if government says, or if there's high level of cry to say legalize arm, identify the set of group of people that should have access to such arm and the type of arm they should have access to.
Okay, so let's talk about warrior mentality. In the Southwest right now, people are rising to the occasion. They are not just talking, and they are trying to put actions to their words. You're smiling already.
Yes.
Who comes to mind already is the young man, Ikpe. And some persons are already admiring him a lot, but I don't even hear of him that much anymore. It's something happening to check him. But let's just look at the attitude first. Let's look at that mentality.
Sunday Igboho's case was actually something that I sympathize with him. And I also indict the security agencies in his community. His sense of bravery is what people salute, not the action. There has been accumulation of provocation. And it took a singular action to drag governors from the north down to Oyo State. That singular action. Now, it also means that the government over the years have built the culture of violence to the extent that if you don't believe in violence, the government will not listen to you. But I will tell you that I don't fall within the category of people that beat the drum of war. Because from history, it is not those that beat the drum of war that dance to it. It is one thing to say we must go to war. Go and read the history of war and warfare. You will know that it is better. In short, no matter how bad a government is better than during war. Because war, you are not sure you will survive. If the bullet did not kill you, hunger will kill you. Either of the two will kill you. So it's not a matter of let us fight, let us kill them, let us do this, let us do that. Look, you are not sure that all the children you have in life, you will not lose them in one day. You are not sure that the man or the woman you love the most will not die in one day. You are not sure that your father or your mother, if he survives or she survives, will not be, a liability because he will lose one part or the other of his or her body. You are not sure that the property that you have labored for all the days of your life will become another man's property. So the issue of war, it is a no-no. It's not a consideration. Rather than war, we should look at who are those that are the major machineries of misgovernance. As you go to the pool, if you believe that a party is not helping you, if you believe that certain government is not helping you, what do? Campaign against them. Work against them in the election. Vote them out. To me, I see that as a better option. Because the option of violence, you are not sure of when it will end. It is the beginning of war, we know. Where you and I were in the studio. During war, if we have to be in the studio like this, I will tell you that you will go on break more than 20 times. And what are you going to do? You want to be sure that nothing is happening outside. Your mind, your heart will be your mouth will be your heart. You are not sure what is happening to your wife and children in their respective places, either at home or there will not be school. Hospitals will be closed. So let's leave the issue. The implication of war is bigger than the word war itself. Look, if you are even saying Nigeria should divide, are you there with me?
Into how many places?
Into how many places? One. No, let us even assume, without conceding that it can divide. USSR divided into 13 different countries.
Yet.
They didn't shoot a bullet. So what are we talking about? If you feel very tired about the country, there's always a machinery for negotiation. That is where IPOP got it wrong. There's always a constitutional means. Are you there with me?
Very well.
Through which you can go. You have your representative in the House of Assembly. You can pressure them. You can put pressure on them to say, look, let us redefine our interest in this country. If it is not something that we can merge together or move together, then let us put constitutional means in motion. Let's have a referendum. So there are constitutional civil means through which anything, I repeat, anything can be attended to. Yes. It's not a matter of to say Nigeria is indissoluble and indivisible. It is grammar. You understand? The constitution is meant for the people. The people is not, they are not meant for the constitution. So it's a product of going through that same legitimate means through which you came together, not through the barrel of the gun. I don't believe that. I don't want to stand for that because I know the consequences are too much to bear.
This is Violence Free World. We'll be right back after this time out. Welcome back. Tony, just before we went on that break, you touched on something that seemed like you were alluding to the belief around that the society, the system rewards violence, pays much more attention to violent people, which is something that is unfortunately probably encouraging people to go into violence. You gave an instance of Igboho's action and how it had to take that for several of the northern governors to go to this. Can you please shed more light on this?
Let's look at it from this angle. By virtue of what you do, let's assume you have intelligence reports and you write to government, security agencies or governor. I want to see you. Now, either of two things will happen. Either your letter is trashed, or a PA to PA to PA to PA to special assistant will see you. And at the end of the day, whatever you have come for is made mockery of. Now, if you have problem in your locality, you go to the police and say, these people are always disturbing us. They are threatening us. They said they will kill us. So police will say, they don't kill you. Then you say, but these people are disturbing us. Then the next thing you say, my friend, will you get out of this place? Now look at it. Until one day, maybe some group of youth now decide to say, these people are not serious. They are not interested in our security. Take petrol bomb, throw inside the police station. In less than 24 hours, the Inspector General of Police in almighty Abuja will come to that village because of that singular act. Look at the Niger Delta saga. Tompolo became a hero. Abi? Asari Dokubo became a hero. Come to Southwest, South-South, Nnamdi Kanu, a hero. Let us even say Nnamdi Kanu did not even go into violence in his own time. You know, maybe after later when he was in exile, we had pockets of violence and all those stuff like that. Come to Southwest here. Gani Adams, if you remember the genesis of Gani Adams and Frederick Fashion. Frederick Fashion was a gentleman in OPC. They started OPC. Because he's an educated person, he attended to it from a more civilized manner. But Gani Adams felt that, look, you people are blowing too much of grammar. These people will not listen to grammar. Abi? And they began their own style of mayhem. Today, listen, Gani Adams was a member of the Constitution Review Committee under Jonathan. Today is the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land. What brought him to limelight was not education. It was the fact that he gained the attention of government through the act of violence. Asari Dokubo, the same thing. We are talking about Shekau today, the same thing. You are talking about all these people. How were they able to gain the attention of government? Violence. Why? Because over time, the government has consciously, unconsciously, surreptitiously built the culture of violence. Now, it is not as if it's consciously done, but it's unconsciously done, because when I write to give a report, and the report is trashed, either by one, let me be very choosy in my choice of words, by somebody that does not understand the true implication of, intelligence, the implication of some petition, and he takes it and look at it and throw it into the dustbin. And when you are tired, when frustration sets in, what do? You seek self-help. In an attempt to seek self-help, violence will come in. And once violence comes in, the constituted authority will now become threatened. What will threaten them? Number one, it is an implication of the fact that you have failed in your primary responsibility. The primary responsibility of government is the welfare and the security of the people. So if the people are now feeling unsecured, they have not gone into the act of violence, it's an indictment. So you will now see what happened. They will now come out to say, what is it? They will compensate them. 2 billion naira was earmarked during Jonathan's time for the protection of pipeline. Who was it given to? Between all this Asari Dokubo and Tompolo and all and the militants. Protect our pipeline. 2 billion. You and I, have we ever bidded for a job of 2 billion? If you bid for a job of 2 billion and they ask you to go and bring the death certificate of your great-grandmother, and they ask you to go and bring a tax clearance of 1947 to 2027, but there is a man that does not have nothing, all because he's believed that, that man, if you shoot him, the gun no go enter. If you shoot him like this, he go turn to water. And the political class too, because they know that, this man, that means he's a good vessel for us to use. So come over. Let's buy you over. What is the antecedent to really show that these people are intellectually sound to the extent of having a discourse at all this, other than the fact that, in fairness to them, I repeat, in fairness to them, they had taken initial peaceful move to inform the government that our people are being cheated, to inform the government that our community is being dilapidated and destroyed. But the government refused to listen. So what do you want them to do?
The hard way, the only way. It seems. But I pray that's not the situation. Please, quickly, as well, can you comment on why the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, is feeling justified for taking the battle to the ESN, Eastern Security Network, to the extent of deploying soldiers? helicopters and the rest on those people. Do you feel that action is justified?
Well, number one, ESN's activities are not legal. But whether they are expedient is a different ballgame. Whether they are of utmost necessity is a different ballgame. Are you there with me?
Yeah.
ESN's activities, I think because it is connected to IPOB, and the government feels that we have to. Why? Because it's connected to an organization that is talking about secession. You see the difference?
Yes.
You know, there's a difference between insurgency and secession. They are two different things. So, most probably, that will be the reason. But if you ask me, I look at Hope Uzodinma as a man that is interested in gaining the patronage and the support of the who is who, the political class at Aso Rock, and whatever he is asked to do, he does it. That's the way I see it as an individual. Because so far so well, I expect that as a governor, all you need to do is call those that are the protagonists of the Eastern Security Network together as a governor, and be able to do the constitute them properly and let them work with security agencies. You know, because it would help you in your domestic security.
That's like baptizing them, turning them anew now.
You know,
into something.
So it will help you. If you look at what they have done is chase out. They try to chase out bandits in their forest, like what Amotekun was doing and all those stuff. So it's more or less like a similitude of Amotekun.
Okay.
Except for the fact that they didn't have government patronage. So what do you do at that point in time? Call them. It's always better to know criminals and move them close than drive them away. If you drive them away, what happens is that they end up becoming rebel groups. And the next attack will be on that government. So if you use efforts and you use this, the remnant that are remaining, you have sowed a seed of bitterness and discord in them. So they are no longer going to be interested in, all they are going to be interested is now to face you. To face you. So I think the government should be able to know when to apply diplomacy and force and not just straight forceful attack. Because Eastern Security Network has the sympathy of an average Easterner. Whether we believe it or not.
Well, Tony, I must say this is a very good point to leave it. I must thank you very much at this point for your thoughts. I can see there's so much in the inside of you, and we'll have to call you back here some other time very, very soon. Well, I've been talking with the Director General of IIPS, Tony Ofoyetan. Tony, once again, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
This is Violence Free World. Same time next week promises another interesting edition. Until then, please remember to remain on the road to a violence-free Nigeria. My name is Ikpe. Thank you for watching. No